Hi, welcome to VR Me Up devlog number 7. For the past week, I've been fixing a few bugs from the last release. I thought I'd also add some new VRM VRoidStudio characters. And I thought I'd do this video on the process that I go through to get the characters into VR Me Up. Now, I want to stress there's nothing special that you have to do to get VRM or VRoidStudio characters into VR Me Up. However, if you use the characters straight out of VRoidStudio, there's a bit of a downside. You get an amazing looking character, but the file size is very large. If you're using this in a desktop application, then that might not be a problem. But if you're using it on the web, then that's a lot of data to download, and that's a lot of processing that the web browser has to do to load the VRM file. For example, this fairly simple model is taking up 17 megabytes. Now that may not sound like much, but that's 17 megabytes of compressed data. So let's take a closer look at the file. There's a really great utility on the PlayCanvas website to allow you to have a deep dive into these files and see what's really in them. I'll put a link in the description, but just go to the website and load up the VRM file. You won't be able to load the VRM file directly, so just rename it to GLB. That's a GLTF binary file, and you should be able to load it up. Once it's loaded, the things we're interested in are the number of vertices, the amount of memory it takes up for the mesh, and the amount of texture memory. As you can see, these are quite high, 10 megabytes, 200 megabytes of texture data, and a load time of half a second. Now, once again, on a desktop, that's not a lot, but if you're loading this into like an Oculus Quest, then that's a lot of memory. So what can we do about this? Well, before you export the VRM file from VRoidStudio, make sure that you have optimized the export options. Make sure that the delete transparent meshes is checked, and reduce the quality count of the hair, face, body, and outfit meshes. How much you change these settings will affect your model, and it's really up to personal preference, but keep an eye on the polygon count in the export info box. If you're targeting an Oculus Quest level device, then they can do about 1 million polygons per second. For 60 frames a second, you want to try and get this number below 16,000. And remember, that's including the rest of the scene and other characters. Keep an eye on the hair and the shoes. As you reduce the quality, you may see unwanted parts of the model poking through these different layers. It can be tricky, but in my next video, I'll discuss using tools like Blender to fix up these errors and optimize the model even more. Once you're happy, reduce the material count to 2 and the texture quality to 2048. This will save a lot of memory and texture space. Once you've exported your model, let's go back to PlayCanvas and check out the new metrics on the optimized model. You can already see that the file size has been reduced. Don't forget to rename the VRM file into GLB and rename it back when you're finished. So it still looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a problem around the feet, but as I said, I'll show you in the next video how you can fix that up using Blender. What's really important is the amount of mesh VRAM and texture VRAM and the number of vertices, and these have all reduced. The number of primitives has gone down from 160,000 to 42,000. The number of vertices has also reduced, but the mesh VRAM has reduced significantly from 10 megabytes to 600 kilobytes. The video RAM's gone down from about 200 megabytes to 130 megabytes, and the load time's about half. You can continue playing with the options and reduce it even more. But in the next video, I'm going to show you how to take this into Blender and really optimize it down. So I hope you found this useful. If you're interested in how to optimize this in Blender, please subscribe and I'll try to get the next video out as soon as possible. So I hope to see you in the metaverse. VR me up.